What's up, everybody? It's Tyler John the Don.
I'm Big Skoom.
And this is
Skoom Speech.
Hey.
So everybody, we have a special guest today. We're going to call him B. Come on into frame, brother. Come on, sit right between us, right?
Yeah.
Hop right in here. So the reason why we have this young man on, first say hello to everybody.
Hi.
The reason why we have him on today is, I'm looking, me personally, I don't know what Tyler's agenda is, but I'm looking to get some information. I want to know what it's like to be a kid and play sports. I want to know if that adds value to his life. I want to know what they teach him at school. And my most important question, I want to know how he views adults and if that is something he looks forward to becoming. So,
Yeah.
And then you have questions too, of course.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that. Well, I'm going to spin it off of where do you believe, this question to be, of course, being involved in sports is going to benefit him later in his near future, or is he thinking that far ahead? Is it just fun? We're going to try to pick his brain and see what we get.
So I got my questions written down today, so we're going to jump right into the first one. You are an athlete, correct?
Yep.
What sports do you play?
Soccer.
All right, you're a soccer player. I want to know if playing sports and going to school, I want to know if that makes you a happier kid.
Well, yeah, playing sports. Well, yeah, I like playing sports. It's like my mom wants me to waste all my energy.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and also it's good for your it's good for your body. You're pretty much exercising.
Okay. Are there
It's fun?
for you? Are there any negatives to playing sports?
Not that I know of. No, I don't think so. But yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. I have my next topic. Is there anything you want to add to that, Tyler John the Don, before I go to my next topic?
No, I think that that'll tie that in pretty well for you. If you're satisfied, maybe there's anything he might to add.
Okay. So my next question is, what things have you learned at school, and what things did they teach you that you remember the most?
Remember most is most is multiplying by decimals, and pretty much mostly my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's a big math major.
That kind of leads to my next question. I'm curious if anything that they've taught you at school, or that you've learned at school, has any of that kind of formed what you want to do when you get older, like an adult for a job?
I might be like a tree climber. There's a gym that helps me climb, climbing ropes.
Okay.
And I can know how to be afraid of heights.
Okay.
Very
So,
good.
and you didn't learn that in school, of course, I imagine?
No.
Okay. All right. I feel like that's some good insight.
Yeah.
My next question, and I feel this is my most important question, and there's a lot of reasons for it. I want to know, what do you think of adults? That's kind of a hard question.
Well, I know adults struggle sometimes.
You said struggle?
Yeah, struggle.
Okay.
And
Do
sometimes
kids not struggle?
kids sometimes struggle, but not more than adults. Because adults struggle a lot.
Would you say it were just different things?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because adults have work and take care of law kids.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a woman taking care of fashion kids.
Yeah, right.
Okay. What else do you think of adults? They struggle, their life is complicated more than a kid?
Well, they love kids.
Okay.
All of them do. And also, they have, some respect in us. If we do something bad, they just believe on us. If we fail, say I'm playing soccer right now, and if we're, losing right now, my mom would say, keep trying, or some mom would keep saying, keep trying.
Okay.
Keep trying, never give up. And the doctor is respecting us.
Okay. So, do you like adults?
Yeah, they're pretty good. They If without adults, we wouldn't be wouldn't be here.
Okay.
And also, because without dogs, we wouldn't be like, well, we wouldn't be like running a lot, exercising a lot, because we don't have adults, we don't really know what to do.
Okay, so when you say you wouldn't be here without adults, you mean like because they take care of you, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you look forward to becoming an adult?
Yeah, so,
Even you said yes?
yeah.
Even though, because you mentioned struggle, that was the first thing you said was struggle, difficulty, hard work. Even with all of that, it's still something you look forward to?
Yeah, because I might not get married.
Okay, so what does that mean? What does that mean? That means it might be easier, it might be more fun. What does that mean?
It's going to be easier because I don't really have to, worry about kids.
Okay.
And I can just go into my future, make some money. And I don't know, maybe when I'm older, I might get a wife and I'm successful.
Okay. Okay, so it's interesting. So, you know it's going to be hard. You know it's going to be a lot harder than it is now, yet it's something that you still look forward to.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, what do you think, Tyler? Do you think that's what most kids feel? I mean, like if I was a kid and if I thought it was going to be harder, I don't know if that's something I would look forward to. What about you?
Yeah, right. Well, I would like to know also, well, if you feel like it's going to be harder, could you say that could parallel with the idea of being on a team? Because your coach might say, you need to do this differently. You're like, okay, coach, that's really hard, but you're not discouraged. Like, you still want to overcome that thing.
Yeah.
So maybe you could take that from being young, a team player, into learning to be a young adult, and then learn how to be a team player in a different area of life, then to take it someplace forward. And like you said, if you do have a wife, and what success might be is what you two can achieve together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where that would kind of line in together. Not really being afraid, understanding there's going to be struggle going forward, but knowing how to properly handle it when it comes.
I mean, you said something that interests me. I don't have much experience with kids, but I find it interesting to hear kids say potentially that they maybe not want to have kids. What's that about, Bryson or Pete?
Well, that's because like you're gonna struggle with them, because like if you don't like, because you pretend your wife's at work and you have to stay home to take care of them. Or if there's like 5 kids that I take care of and you're like, oh my gosh, is that you both them? Or it's just like it's hard and difficult.
Okay, well, I have some advice for you, B, even though you did not ask for any. The first thing you said and you acknowledged, which is pretty good at your age, was that being an adult is a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
You are super aware of that. You almost sound pretty comfortable with that. It sounds like it's something you almost are looking forward to, which is good, because the point I'm about to make is, 1, that you're right, and 2, there is no way around that struggle. You are going to struggle.
Yeah.
So to me, it would seem because of that, you can't get out of it by not having kids. Like, you're still going to be struggling, just as much, maybe not more. Like, there's always going to be this level of struggle, and not having kids isn't going to reduce your struggle level, if you kind of get the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you maybe wouldn't want to have kids because, you're hoping to maybe slightly struggle less. But as me and Tyler can tell you, and we'll let Tyler tell you, does it work like that? Do you get to lose some of life's struggle in any way?
No.
No.
The short answer is no.
Yeah.
The reason why is because if you don't have people that depend on you, which would in this case be a child, right? If you have your own child, because you don't have that thing in existence to depend on you, bring you your struggle, there's going to be a struggle somewhere else in your department of life that is still going to be knocking at your door all the time, and that would then boil into our, we had recently done a conversation about expectations, and if you say, I plan on getting older, or I can't wait till I get older because I plan on there being less struggle would kill that expectation automatically, right?
Yes.
Because that expectation is already faulty, because it doesn't get easier, and we're all just trying to figure out life as we all communicate with each other and try to grow as a community. You know, you put a lot of trust in your friends and your peers to hopefully give you the best advice to get around those struggles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another great point Tyler is kind of leading to as well for you, B, is, you know, you already know. I mean, it was really smart for you to first thing bring up struggle, how you view adults, because it's the absolute truth. And, you know, since there's no way around that struggle, B, that's going to go that you have ahead of you, yeah, I don't know, potentially kids could kind of give you a reason to face that big struggle fight that you're about to go through.
Face on. Like head on.
Yeah. It's like, and you know, I'm trying to use a metaphor. Like, I don't know, you always think of food whenever I think of metaphors, but let's say, right, you're trying to decide to go out to dinner somewhere, and, you know, you're trying to make it the decision less, like, be more of, or be less of a struggle. So you're saying, all right, well, instead of having two options, I'm just going to go to McDonald's. It's
Cut and dry.
Yeah, it's easier than deciding between Burger King and McDonald's. I'll just choose McDonald's.
Yeah.
Because it's less struggle trying to decide.
Well, it might be comfort too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
But then another struggle comes. Like, all right, well, how am I going to get there? Like, where am I going to pay for it?
Sure,
Like,
sure.
just no matter what, you know, this
that's struggle.
exactly.
No matter what, right?
Yeah.
There's options, and every option has a fork in the road. Every single one.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, are you going to come with your quickest conclusion, which would be going based off of comfort, right? Comfort says, well, why even leave at all? I could call pizza to come to my house, now I don't have to leave, and figure out how for me to get from there to there.
That's probably a better metaphor because, yeah, what would be the next struggle after that, right? Like, yeah, I'm just going to have some delivery so I don't have to leave.
Maybe it delivers and it's cold. It's like, oh, great.
But
Then you're cooking anyway.
But I can relate to you, B, because I don't have kids, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure if I don't want kids or if I want kids either. But I definitely don't make that decision based off of, oh, well, you know, I'll have less of my life will be easier if I don't have kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something you'll have fun developing as you get older. But
Yeah. I've always heard, like, your view if you're going to have children can always change based off the person that you're in a relationship with.
okay,
Yeah. So, I don't know. I've always just kind of admired that aspect. If I personally agree with it or not, doesn't really matter. I mean, everyone has their own standpoint. Oh, I've had several girlfriends and none of them met my expectation of making a family with, you know. So, like I said, super personal, super subjective. So,
back to you, B. I'm curious. You know, I got two questions actually. Since you know adults struggle so much, a lot more than kids, I don't know, does that potentially make you respect them more because, you know, they're doing things that are harder than what a kid's doing? What do you think about that?
Well, some kids don't really think, you know, like the younger kids don't think that they're struggling.
Yeah.
But like when you grow up, you want to try to respect them. Like let's say when you're an adult now,
Yeah.
you want to respect your dad and mom.
Okay.
Some teens don't, some other kids don't, but you have to respect your parents either way.
Okay. Do you think some of that, of course, right, I'd agree with you, and of course, right, we respect people, we don't even really know why, we know that we should, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure we just should.
yeah.
Do you think some of that, like, without knowing it, could be because you, like I said, you know that they struggle so much and that they're still there for you, smiling, happy, taking care of you, and doing all this hard work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm curious, you know, I would imagine you potentially have some role models or a role model, and imagine potentially maybe it'd be an adult as well, but it's up to you. Do you have any role models?
Do you know what a role model is?
Oh yeah, I know it is, but I don't think I do.
Out of any aspect. So say,
It doesn't have to be an adult either.
right, we'll say it could be out of any aspect, which also means it could be somebody that so a role model is also another word is an idol, right?
Sure.
Somebody you idolize in maybe a sport aspect or a intellectual aspect, someone that you think is a good problem solver and why, or somebody that you think you can bring to any situation and they're going to give you the best outcome because they truly care about you.
I have some more advice that you didn't ask for, B. Basically, I think, because usually when adults get older, right, they like stop having role models. I think a good role model for anyone, no matter their age, could and should be like a superhero. Like, yeah, Spider-Man's my role model. Like, even when you're 40, or Iron Man's my role model, the Hulk. Because, yeah, they can always be role models for anyone, even adults, too.
Because they always stand for the right thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, not trying to force any answer out of you, and I know you gave one, you can give it again. But, yeah, I'm super curious. If you think about it, slightly maybe a little harder, or if you know the answer, do you have any role models?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, I got a little. Like, my role model is like, I don't know. Like, I know what my role model is, but I can't really think of a role model right now. I got a lot of models.
Okay.
There are a few. Do you have like a top 3?
I don't think so.
You don't think
Well,
so?
maybe more importantly, from a kid's perspective, like what makes someone a role model? Like you brought up making money already, which is pretty interesting at your age, I think. So someone potentially who makes a lot of money, is that someone who could potentially be a role model for you?
Yeah, like you said, like superheroes can be a role model.
Okay.
So like people want to be superheroes. People like younger kids want to be a lot of young kids want to be superheroes when they're like 6,
Yeah.
5, and then when you grow older, you think that's like, so you want to be a different role model.
Yeah.
So it's like keep changing your role models.
Yeah.
Keep changing role models.
I want to kind of take you through an experiment. I want to try to decide not a role model for you, but what that role model would look like. So we're going to do it together. You brought up potentially someone who makes money, right? They could potentially be a role model. I'm just curious for you specifically, what type of things are important to you? I mean, I know you a little bit, so I might cheat a little bit, but brought up the making money. I don't know, someone who's, I know you like to play sports, maybe someone who's active, or maybe someone who's fit, maybe someone who is, very loving. Yeah, maybe someone who's really tall, or someone who, what type of things do you think you would look for in a role model? They make money, what else?
Just characteristics, not somebody
Like
specific.
creative. I want to be creative.
Okay, so someone who's creative.
Someone creative. Someone who's smart.
With the first one, for you, and whatever it means to you, how would you know an adult is creative? What type of things would they be doing or have to
Well, I'm not trying to be like Elon Musk here, but like
do? You say his name again?
Elon Musk.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be like Elon Musk here, but honestly, Elon Musk is like he creates a lot of things. Created Tesla.
Yeah.
Like Mars is like when you create something new. You don't create the same thing over and over and over.
Right.
Okay, so to summarize, we have 2, and I'd love to hear a couple more. So potentially a role model for B is someone who potentially makes money, and someone who's creative. What other type of things?
Be helpful. Like
Oh, interesting. Very
like
interesting.
if you have a lot of money,
Yeah.
say like Elon Musk again.
Yeah.
Like you may give some poor people like some money.
Okay.
You can help the future. Because you just don't want to be that mean guy that don't give any homeless people money when you have like billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone who's helpful, they have money, they are creative. Do you have any other things that you would look up to, essentially?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he just wants a good, solid, genuine role model.
Okay.
Somebody genuine that actually cares. Somebody caring.
Is there any certain look to this role model? I mean, someone who, like, I use me, for example. I'm not trying to put anything in your head or for you to say anything, but, when I was younger, or maybe younger, like, for example, there's no way my role model could be, like, 80 years old, for example.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like that.
yeah, someone who's 80, who's...
Because you want them to be young, fit, and active?
Well, that's for me personally.
Yeah.
I won't say that's for
You want to
people.
be fit before you're an adult.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, sure.
Yeah.
So is there any certain look to this role model that, something, you look up to or anything like that?
Well, I want to be strong someday because,
You want to be strong.
yeah, like someday I want to be strong because you never know what's going to happen in the future. You might get robbed. You want to, like, if someone's messing your family, you want to,
Protect them.
yeah, protect them. It's a defense. It's not about throwing fists facing at each other. It's about like defending your family.
Yeah.
It's just,
For sure.
You're a very smart person, and I want to pick your brain a little bit more. You brought up, you were critical, critical, right?
Yeah.
You were critical against people your own age at one point, which I thought it's really cool. What you said was, hey, a lot of kids my age, they may not have respect for adults. You said something like that, you remember, right?
Yeah.
What other type of things have you noticed or picked up on that you could be critical about people your age that you think, maybe they're not doing it right, or just be critical? Any other things that you've seen kids, how they are, how they talk, how they act, that you think, whatever, I'd do it differently, maybe that's smart, they could be better people if they did this. Any other things you've noticed or seen?
Some kids don't want to be creative.
Interesting.
Like, some kids don't really want to be smart, just want to be normal. Some kids don't want to have not a lot of money.
Interesting.
And
So right, you're at school, you're hanging out, but you got your backpack on. What would have to happen, or what would you have to see for you to know, hey, that person doesn't care about being creative, that person doesn't care about having a good future with money? What have you seen? What type of things would you have to see to be able to say that to yourself, to know it?
Probably like a student not helping his teammates want to be creative.
Okay.
Like say if you're in science right now, building a volcano or whatever.
Yeah.
And other kids like, I don't want to build this. And he just don't want to be like creative. But it's cool that you're building it all. I mean, I love building too.
Yeah.
But just like, they don't really like, so a lot of kids don't like it. Like, so for example, pretend I'm building, well, my team is a big volcano, I'm not helping at all. And I'm saying, I don't really want to build this.
Yeah.
I don't want to build at all. You're not really creative at that moment. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not.
Okay. I think you're right. And it's some pretty deep thought for someone your age. How old are you?
11.
It's pretty deep thought for an 11-year-old,
Yeah.
I think if we were to kind of look into it a little bit deeper, which I think I know to be true, why do you think, I kind of give you the answer kind of now. You related it to work, right? You were like, hey, some of these kids fall short and don't decide to be creative because it sounds like you said they didn't want to put the work in.
Yeah.
Any idea why?
Well, probably because some kids want to be lazy, just play on the screens.
Yep.
Like, all those crap. And some kids they don't want to help at all because they just want to do something else and they think it's boring.
Yeah.
But when you get into the future, you're going to need help. So if you respect those people now, they're going to respect you.
Okay, so
That's interesting.
So to summarize, he's basically saying, hey, kind of to take it at a little higher level, you're basically saying, hey,
He's
it's not.
saying, if you put it in now, people will see the fruit of your labor later because you were willing to work at this point.
Yeah.
What can you do in the future?
People see it differently.
Yeah.
It's very true. I mean,
Well, that's where respect comes from. Respect starts at 11 years old.
very true. And, Tyler's right. We can talk about sacrifice a lot. Sacrificing is a very, very smart thing that only that I only think humans do,
Yeah.
Very smart thing.
So, I was scared.
Another thing where I was also going with that was, you're kind of saying, hey, really what you're kind of saying is, hey, it's not so much that kids aren't creative, it's really that they're kind of just lazy.
Yeah.
Fair to say?
Yeah.
All right, and you also are kind of saying, hey, I'm not one of those kids. I'm not really a lazy kid. Is also kind of what you're saying as well?
Yeah, sometimes I on the screen, but I also help a lot. My sister helps more than me, but yeah, it's just.
When you see lazy lazy people, let alone kids, but when you see lazy people, I mean, how do you feel? Do you kind of feel bad for them?
I could feel bad for the people who's doing all the work.
Okay.
Because, like, say someone's gardening and they decide they want to help his record on the screens, I just feel bad for the adult because, say, if it's someone old,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I don't know what to help, and you don't even care what age they are, so you just go in and play in screens. They have to garden even though they're old.
Yeah.
So, like, it can be bad for their health, but they want to keep the family running and help them.
Okay. Do you think there's tons of lazy people out there, and obviously kids as well? Do you think that's something they're born with?
Yep. But the board with a lot of them is born of creative. Well, everyone's born of energy.
Okay.
A lot of energy, like babies got some energy.
Yeah.
And some doesn't, like when babies is born, they're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because they have no idea what this is. And when they're like not even born yet, they're like, how is that? Did something good? Did something new?
Yeah.
So then, like, when you get born, you're just like, what's this? What is this? Because you can see the whole new world there. And when you grow up, you can see it that some are bad, some are good.
I have a really high level question for you. Let's see if you got it.
Okay.
So, almost losing it. So, here we go. So, you're at school, you got your backpack on, you're bouncing around, you go into class. Let's say it's some sort of workshop class. It's a group project.
Makes sense.
Yep, it's a science class. You're in a group. There's 4 of you in the group. You see, 2 lazy kids who aren't trying to do any work and help, and you and the other person are doing a bunch of work. What do you think would have to happen to those lazy kids for them to not be lazy anymore?
They're not gonna have a good life because they're not even gonna be successful in life.
Right. What he's asking though, before you go off on your tangent, is what would you maybe, if you were more empowered, right? What would you tell people that are underachievers and how to make them snap into it and not be so lazy?
That wasn't my question, but it's a really good question. I'd love to hear what. B, you have an answer for that? It's a good one. It's a great question.
I love people.
It's a better question.
I love people help more than being on screens.
Tyler, this question is, and there's no real answer to this, but what do you think you could do to get them to get off their screens and to
interact correctly?
Like adults, they take away the screens, just hide them.
Okay.
Sure. Do you think that's the best course of action, or maybe we need to teach this lazy person the proper way to use their energy and not be so
lazy?
Yeah, so okay with doing nothing. Why are they okay with doing nothing, and how do we overcome it?
Well, they're not. They think it's okay to do nothing because when they're like, oh, I don't even want to do this because they hate it so much. Then they say they hate it so much. They're like gardening, don't like doing nothing, don't like building, they don't have anything in sense of humor.
Right.
Is there any words you could say to get them to potentially put the screens down?
To say, okay, can you go take out a trash? They say no. Just take away the screens, and they'll do it.
Okay.
So you don't think it's something you can overcome verbally? It has to be an action. You have to remove this thing from this environment to make this thing now functionable.
Well, yeah, that's how my mom did it.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
We'll ask you one more question. Me and Tyler are kind of beating a dead horse here, but because of course, for example, you couldn't do that in class because you're still a kid. You're not the teacher yet.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So since you can't discipline the kids and take their screens away if they don't participate in class in the science project, is there anything potentially that you could think of that you could do? Which is, again, there's really no real answer.
Like if I see kids they stay on their phone in the class,
Yep.
hiding it under the desk,
Sure.
playing it.
Yeah.
There's 2 things I would do. First, I would tell the teacher.
Okay.
Or second, if that don't work out, with should, but
What would you say?
if it didn't work out, but
Yep.
it should, maybe I'll just say put it away,
Okay.
and it'll probably make him embarrassed. But yeah,
It's a good answer. I mean, kind of in reality, as you get older, really there's kind of really nothing we can do, right? Everybody knows that. But this is kind of for our viewers and for Tyler. B's not really going to get this too much because he's still extremely young.
yeah.
But I have a great answer. I feel I have a pretty good idea of what you can do in situations like these guys. So, again, this is more for Tyler and the viewers. But, right, Tyler, we talk about will to power, right, as a lot.
Yeah.
I've said it to you first. How do you explain what it is? From what I've said, what do you think it is? How do you view it? What does it mean?
Power. I don't know. It's not one I think of very often. I know that, like, we
I know.
agree that.
I'll jump in.
Yeah.
So,
It's not one I think of often. It's
So-
not really my way of living like that.
well, of course that's not true. But how I see it, how I try to explain it is like, first we talked about evolution, Darwin, right? We all are here just to not die, right? That's what they kind of teach in school.
Yeah.
The reality I think is we are more trying to get some power or use any power that we have.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm doing that right now by speaking. I'm using the power to speak.
The power of knowledge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yep. I really think that's what life's about, and kind of more of why we're here.
Right.
Everything someone's doing is for them to have some sort of power or to use power that they have, or obviously to get more. Yep.
Yeah.
One of those three, no matter what it is.
More than a third for me, right? You just learn. Educate
So
yourself.
I would touch on that in this moment, right? Say I'm at school, I'm in a science project. I got 4 people with me. None of them are working. I would try to touch on their will to power, even though they don't even know that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I would use that. I'd be like, hey, obviously there's still nothing I could do. I can only try, but I'd be like, hey,
You can help one.
well, yeah, but I would try to get them to do what I want, but in a way that would make them feel powerful.
Because
Right.
Because that's what they want. They want to feel powerful.
they want to be they want to do something that's good for them.
Exactly. That's all people are doing that. That's the only reason why I think we're honestly here is to do something that's good for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would try touching on that. I'd be like, hey,
So instead of telling them what to do directly, which we already know, obviously, they don't want to work on this assignment.
yeah,
So instead of saying, okay, well, what do you know about this assignment, and taking any bitter part, you can say, okay, well, who has the best handwriting, and then put that person on that. Okay, you enjoy that. Who likes coloring? You do this part, and then I
not a
like
bad
the thing.
idea.
So critically, we can all put this together. And
That's actually a pretty good idea. I would take a little bit more, psychological approach, and you could almost say manipulative, but I guess apparently smart people call manipulation. I guess they call it influence.
Yeah, persuasion.
So I would use more of some psychological influence. Let's say Tyler's on his phone playing on his Nintendo DS. I'd be like, hey, I see you playing on your Nintendo DS while we're all working. Like, does that make you feel good?
Yeah.
Does that make you feel good? We're all working and you're not. Does that make you feel good? What do you think they'd probably say?
Well, I don't know. Me personally, I would say no, because I wouldn't do that to somebody. Obviously, like, I believe in if I'm here, I'm present, and I'm in that moment.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do that to people, of course, because that's just the incorrect thing to do.
I imagine a lot of people would say that. I'd be like, yeah, does that make you feel good? We're all working and you're not, and you're just playing. Like,
Yeah.
Does that make you feel like a bad person? They'd probably be like,
I can't believe I do this.
yeah, they'd probably, exactly.
You would be
They'd probably-
ashamed, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would kind of touch on that. And then I'd use that, ashamed,ness and
Yeah.
feeling like, they wouldn't feel good about themselves, I imagine.
I'm really sorry.
And I'd be like, what you could do is if you want to feel better about yourself and help out, you could work with us.
Yeah.
And they'd probably be like, well, yeah, you're right. I do feel like a crappy person. You
Yeah.
guys are all working and I'm not.
Then they all come to the same conclusion of, well, that's not the proper way to interact in this kind of setting.
Yeah, and I
Of course,
just
right?
sit back like Trump, like, yeah, I'm moving all these pieces. These people are doing what I want now, and so it's pretty sort of approach, huh?
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what I would do.
Yeah. It sucks being even put in that position because it makes you feel weird having to approach somebody like that.
Yeah. I mean,
Like it puts you in an uncomfortable situation, but now I need to make you feel like a bugger because
Exactly.
we're all in an uncomfortable situation. now.
exactly.
I don't want to be doing this project as much as I would like to be home watching NFL, as much as you'd like to sit here and play your DS the whole time. But obviously we got to do something different here.
You're exactly right. I would
Might as well just hurry up and get it over with.
That's the whole point. I would definitely try to make them uncomfortable by pressing on we're working and you're not.
Yeah.
Like I would probably say that a couple times.
Because-
how does that make you feel? Like,
Because if you're not completely like selfish, then you would obviously feel the emotional impact of that. You know, like
yeah.
I feel like some people just wouldn't though. They're like, yeah, so
Yeah, true.
right. What do you do in that situation?
If they said that,
so
yeah, so
good. You're a sucker. You're working on the art project, and I'm gonna get a B on it because I didn't help, but I still got a better grade than we would have.
I would take a different angle. I'm trying to think. How can I make them feel powerful? So they say no. I totally cool with doing nothing.
Or they're just nonchalant about not caring about it.
I'd probably
Which is
try.
pretty savage.
I'll keep digging. I'd be like, well, what do you think your parents are thinking? Like, I'd get real dark. You know what I mean?
Grandparents.
Yeah, like you think your dad would be.
You're okay with bringing a B home to your grandparents?
Oh yeah, like you think your dad. Because hopefully they care about their parents. It's like, yeah, you think your parents, you think they'd be proud of you doing this right now?
Yeah. Well, you would hope so.
They're like, nah, I don't care what my parents think. It'd be like, I don't know. I use like their like because they have a crush, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, you like right their crush in class. Like, well, what do you think she thinks of you right now? What would she think?
So like,
That could be a good point.
no,
Yeah.
no.
I'd be like, no, I don't like girls, or
Not happening.
I don't like girls or anything. I'd be like,
Cat.
well, I'd be like, I don't know. Maybe I'd start touching on God. What do you think God thinks? Like, I would get real dark. Dude, you're doing this project.
Yeah. Well, you're helping me. If I'm stuck doing it and you're stuck being my partner, we'd help together.
Yeah.
He picked us.
Yeah.
It's because to work, so you gotta work.
Yep. So, but yeah, B, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
Yeah.
I'm out of questions for you. I think you got any questions for B?
Well, I mean, he answered it. I was going to say, where do you think being a team player really affects you at school, like being placed on assignment? But he said it himself. How do you think that benefits you? Learning how to be a team player and how to cooperate with other people. Where do you think that helps you in school with assignments and just other things?
Well, that helps me with gym a lot because, I exercise, I get stronger,
Okay, sure.
and it helps me sometimes too because now I don't really know. People think that a lot of people think about, like I can't wait for the soccer game, I can't wait for this practice. I love soccer so much. Sometimes I think that. But also, I relate to it. You don't have to focus all on soccer. You got to focus on the grades. You got to focus on a lot of things. You got to focus on a lot of things.
Do you think that sports helps you with your grades by any way?
Yeah. You learn something. Like pretend you're doing a science project about making something. It's like teamwork.
Okay, yeah.
Let's say what I'm doing right now, making teamwork.
Yeah.
It helps with teamwork.
Sure.
And it helps you to talk to people, so you don't have to yell in their face when they're all pretending playing soccer or basketball.
Yeah.
Saying you got all people around you, you have no who to pass to.
Right.
But a kid is just open wide, just yelling at you. But all the people just covering you. That's not really a good way to help.
I got another question for you. It might be a two-parter, and it's pretty high level. You brought up sacrifice, right? You obviously know what sacrifice is.
Yeah.
What was the hardest sacrifice for you? What was the hardest thing that you had to give up that really hurt?
Well,
it's a good question, huh?
I had to give up I had a dog named Reese. I had to give him up because now, because Gizmo and Reese always get excited, sometimes fighting.
Okay.
So we had to move Reese into motor beats.
Okay.
Yeah, and
so that was a hard sacrifice for you.
Yeah.
hard sacrifice.
Here's the two-parter. Was it worth it? Was the sacrifice worth it?
I mean, it's not worth it for Gizmo, but
What about for you?
I love Reese. I didn't know him, but it's good that they moved because we don't really want them to get hurt.
Yeah.
Because, some dogs don't really think it just bump into things. Like, say, there's an expensive glass thing, talk about $1 million a year.
Yeah.
There's fight, and when it bumps into the table, and it falls and breaks, you're going to be mad. That's $1 million.
Okay.
And you're going to be like, well, okay, I'm sorry, but we might have to move Reese to, a different place.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the hardest sacrifices for you. You say it kind of did pay off, though.
Yeah.
Do you think? How do you think that relates to your adult life? Are you hoping, or do you think that's how your adult life will be as well?
I'm hoping to get like all of them, both of them together soon.
Okay.
So like they can respect more. They can respect more and like not to be all crazy because they're young.
Yeah.
They're 6 and I forgot how old is Reese.
Yeah.
And literally, it's just because they're young. They don't like some of them don't have to respect a lot. But when they're like 8 or 9, like
Yeah.
instead of age like I don't know.
Other than
Yes.
the dogs that you really care about, what other things are you willing to sacrifice for?
I'm going to. Which ones I would sacrifice for?
Yeah. What other things are you willing to sacrifice for?
I would sacrifice myself for the family. If I was growing
Nice.
up, if I was just got married,
Yeah.
like just turned out, like say you're like 30 or 25,
Yep.
and I'm just doing war and I just got out of it.
Yep.
I would sacrifice for my family because my family's about to get saw. I would say, take me in.
Okay.
Do not take anything else. Leave my family alone, just take me.
Nice. Okay, I get what you're saying. If you had to, you would sacrifice for your family, for them to keep going, keep living.
I would sacrifice money.
Okay.
Like, take all my money, but please don't hurt any of my family members.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good answer. Pretty good interview. Really appreciate you dropping in on us.
Yeah.
This guy's got a real busy life. Better catch him on an off day.
Yeah. Let's hit this outro.
All right. This has been Telejohn Don.
I'm Big Skoom, and this has been Skoom Speech.
Hey.